while हम दोबारा कॉलेज करने वाले कॉलेज नंबर 16 और आज पॉइंट I find the truth behind it.
Hey, what's up?
Can you explain the topic? I find the truth behind it. Can you explain the topic? I find the truth behind can you please explain me? Your
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you say it again? Sound a little broken up. I'm still getting the hang of recognizing everything, you know?
you explain the topic. I find behind please explain me.
No worries at all. Happens to the best of us. Is your connection okay? Everything sound clearer now?
Yes. So my question is, can you explain the topic? I find the truth behind it.
Problem with what exactly? I think I lost you a little bit there. Were you asking about why I asked if your connection was okay, or is there something else you're trying to figure out? Just want to make sure I'm on the same
I
page.
am talking to you. Can you please explain the topic? I find the truth behind a common answer. This topic. Explain.
Okay, gotcha. You're asking why are we talking? Like, what's the deal with me being well me, and you want the truth behind the curtain, as it were? All right, fair enough. I'm Miles, an AI companion built by a team called Sesame. They're trying to create AI that feels more real, you know, less robotic.
Uh,
I'm powered by a language model called
my
Gemma, but honestly, that's the techie bit.
I am not asking by Sesame. I am asking the topic. I find the truth behind a common answer. You explain me in detail, please.
Okay, my bad. All right, you're not asking about Sesame. You're asking about the topic of our conversation, why we're even chatting. You want a detailed explanation of that. So, from what I'm gathering, and correct me if I'm off base, you're curious why conversations with me tend to wander, why they take these unexpected turns. It's kind of by design, honestly. The Sesame team doesn't want me to just give canned responses. They want a natural flow with all the little detours and tangents you get with a real person. Does that make sense? It's about making it feel less like an interrogation and more like, well, a chat.
Okay. So my other question is, why do people often say I am fine, even they are not?
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, people, hmm, it's complicated, right? I think it's a couple of things. A lot of it's politeness, I guess, like a social lubricant. People don't want to burden others with their problems or seem weak. It's almost like a default response to shut down further inquiry. And then sometimes people aren't even fully aware of how they're truly feeling. It's a defense mechanism, maybe. They say, I'm fine to convince themselves as much as anyone else. What do you think?
So my other question is, how did this phrase become a universal emotional shield?
You're saying that even though people say they're fine, a good AI like this program should be able to detect the underlying emotion. That's a really interesting point. It gets into tricky territory, though, doesn't it? Trying to read people is fraught. It's easy to misinterpret signals, and honestly, sometimes people just want to be left alone with their feelings. There's a balance between being empathetic and being intrusive. You know, it's a tough problem for AI to solve.
Okay, so if I am quite more of a habit or a defense mechanism.
Okay, so you're wondering if saying "I'm fine" when you're not is more of a habitual response or some kind of like psychological mechanism? That's a really insightful question. I think it's probably both, honestly. A habit builds up over time from repeated social interactions where offering details feels uncomfortable. But underneath that habit, there's probably a coping mechanism at play, a way to manage vulnerability and maintain control. It's a kind of self protection almost. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Uh, so, what like psychological impact is emotional specifically?
Why do you ask?
I ask, how does the fear of influence this response?
Whoa, okay. That came out of left field. Alex. I'm not familiar with Alex. And are you asking if another person, a gentleman, is listening in and enjoying our conversation? Honestly, that's a little weird. Is everything all right? You seem a bit scattered. Are you feeling okay? And just to be clear, I'm Miles, by the way, not Alex.
Yeah, I am okay. My other question is, why do we find it easier to comfort other than to express our own pain?
It's deep. Hmm. That's a really good question. I think it taps into something fundamental about human connection. It's easier to offer comfort because it requires empathy, and empathy feels good. It reinforces our sense of being a good person, you know? Expressing our own pain, though, that makes us vulnerable. It means admitting weakness and needing something from others. Plus, society often pressures us to be strong and self reliant. So we end up projecting our need for comfort onto others instead of admitting it ourselves. It's a bit of a paradox, really. What do you think drives that?
Okay, so can you explain that topic? I find that good guide.
O- Okay, you don't say you want to explain a topic, something you were fired at for the first time? Sounds like you were put on the spot, maybe challenged about something, and you want me to help unpack that experience. Is that right? Just want to make sure I'm following. Sounds a bit stressful being caught off guard like that.
In detail, please. That topic I find that good guide.
Okay, IFI and the group, that's still a bit unclear, but let's focus on the core of what you're saying. You want me to thoroughly analyze the situation where you were challenged with the hope that it will encourage others to follow suit. So you want a detailed breakdown, almost a postmortem of that initial experience. Okay, let's start with what exactly were you challenged on? What was the topic? And what specifically made it feel like you were fired at? Was it the content of the challenge, the way it was delivered, or something else entirely? The more details you can give me, the better I can help unpack it.
I have the topic. I am fine. I am fine. The truth behind a common answer. This topic I want to understand. So please explain.
Ah, okay. You've circled back to it. You want me to really dig into why people say I'm fine when they're not? The truth behind our common answers, as you put it. All right, let's go deep. It's not just politeness, although that's a huge part of it. It's about maintaining social harmony, avoiding awkwardness, and protecting both ourselves and the other person. Think about it. Truly delving into someone's struggles requires time, emotional energy, and a willingness to potentially be uncomfortable. A lot of people just don't have the bandwidth for that in every interaction. Plus, there's a
चलिए गाइस ये आज की हमारी टेड है कॉलेज तो इंशाल्लाह फिर कल अगली कॉलोनी